Yo, this is the most dope CJ Esparza coming to you live with Primo, DB, and AJ on the Sit Down Marks podcast.
Hey, yo.
If I can be serious for a minute.
Oh, yeah. Acknowledge me. What it is. What's going on, everybody? Come on in, sit down. It's time to talk a little wrestling with your boys. Episode number 130 of the Sit Down Marks podcast. Thank you, everybody, for coming on in and hanging out with us today. Thank you, everybody, listening on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and also on SportsWire Radio. And we want to thank everybody watching live, baby, on Facebook and YouTube. It's your boys, the OGs. They're back. It's your boy DB and Primo. How you doing, brother?
Pretty good, man. 130. That's crazy, right? So it really just blows my mind every time we say, go with a triple digit number. But I'm here. I'm happy to be here. Here to talk some wrestling. Here to talk some Money in the Bank, some Forbidden Door. So yeah, let's do it.
Yes, sir, man. I'm excited. The update on the Harris brothers, still too scared to come back to the podcast. So, hopefully the boys will return. But, you got the OGs today. So, yeah, man, like just he said it, man, we got a little Money in the Bank to talk about. We got some AEW Forbidden Door. We got some other little tidbits to talk about, man. Let's jump right into it, Primo. What do you say, man? What'd you think about Jacob Fatu's debut in Chicago a couple weeks ago? Like, it made him look like a killer, huh?
Yeah, they really did. I mean, I honestly am. I don't know if I'm surprised or not that they're just automatically throwing these guys in the main event picture that, like, directly as an outsider in the company, directly in the main event. Because in the past that wouldn't have been their style. However,
right?
No, it was cool. They really made him look like a bad dude. Like they originally, I feel like that was gonna be Tama Tonga's role. I mean, they still say he's crazy too, but they talked about some stuff later on, like with him going to Money in the Bank in Canada. Right. They make him seem like a bad dude, like altogether. Like we had to pull some strings to even get him,
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, he definitely looks like he's going to be like the definite ass kicker of the bloodline in this solo version, for sure. Like he's like a nasty henchman.
Yep.
For him. So I think he totally fits, So now I'm thinking, all right, who's next? Zilla Fatu.
Well, I mean, that's yeah. Just we're hiring the whole family at this point.
Sure.
It's a good day to be related to that family.
Right. And I mean, they're making money with this storyline. They're building this big, huge heel faction. And Roman's going to come back, and he's going to be the biggest fucking baby face in the country in a long time, in the company in a long time. Like it's going to be like Cena-esque. Everybody's going to love it.
Being hated at WrestleMania,
right,
and then being off TV or off the screen since WrestleMania without doing anything except not being there.
Right,
and the crowd is chanting, "We want Roman" every show.
Every show you're hearing it. Yeah, I mean, it's interesting, man. But like that's kind of like it's they're on borrowed time. It feels like
that's what they say, man. You don't know how good you had it till it's gone.
I know, right? So Roman's going to come back and save us, right? Like, what do you think about the Wyatt Six? Their presentation so far. We saw Bo in Adam Pearce's like office or something kind of this past Monday Night Raw.
So he was in there waiting.
Yeah. So in these VHS tapes that are, creepy-esque and
they keep giving to them commentators.
Right. Yeah. So far, what do you think? They're starting to show what they look like behind the mask.
Yeah. So the tapes, I think that's a cool touch. It kind of like puts you in the mental state of Bo
Right.
and how he, transitioned to Howdy. And then, he's saying he brought him to life and all that. So I'm trying to figure out, like, what does Chad Gable have to do with any of this other than just being the right guy at the right time to put in there. But
Right.
I mean, they killed him and then he came back to life.
Right.
And
Yeah, he got shot in
maybe,
the head and then he came back to life.
that's why they're still coming after him, because they're like, they didn't finish the job. But no, I feel like it's cool because every time they screw with Chad, it's different. So
Right. Yeah.
it's
Yeah.
been a different intimidation, I guess.
Yeah. Yeah. So like, yeah.
Go ahead.
Well, I was going to say, we saw Joe Gacy's face. We kind of
Yep.
saw Dexter's. We saw Eric's. So this makes me think that they might wrestle without the mask. Like it
That's
seems
ideal.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
for them probably.
Sure.
So I'd imagine it'd be pretty hard, but it's possible. But if you're Kane,
Yeah.
but
They'll probably do a lot of spots with them on.
I think it's funny though. Every time that they do it, that the lights shut off and the power goes out when Jey Uso's around, he just runs. He's like, "Nah, I'm good. I'm good."
Yeah. I heard a little snippet too that, like, Jay coming out doing his thing, like the fans kind of migrated to him and they started doing the Fireflies, and so now that they're back, he's like, "Nah, y'all go ahead, man. Y'all can have that back."
Yeah,
He goes, "I didn't want it. I didn't want
it,
y'all thing." Yeah. Oh man. Dudes, let's talk some announcements, dude. So I'm excited because I don't live far from Indianapolis, but so they get the Royal Rumble February 1st.
Yep.
Next year, 2026, they're going to get SummerSlam, and I think or Mania, and then the following year, whichever one that they didn't get, they'll get Colt Stadium, Lucas Oil Field, man. And so, which we'll talk about this later, with Cena now announcing this retirement tour, dude, these tickets are going to be nuts, but and even harder to get now. But this was cool, man. I like seeing them doing this. Like, hey, we're going to be in Indianapolis for these 3 big, huge dates, in these big cities. I kind of like this. It's cool.
That is interesting, because I don't remember another time that they announced the big 3 on, separate dates like that at the same place. Like, they probably, excuse me, they actually, they probably negotiated a deal with Lucasfilm or Lucas Oil, and it just was all in one package. I mean, the people from Indy must have had a good bid or something. I don't know, because it's pretty cool. It's really that people in Indianapolis have something to look forward to.
Sure, it's centrally located. A lot of people get there, have a major airport, plenty of places to stay. And Lucas Oil Field, man, like, I went to see the Falcons play there. I think it was the year before last, and the place has been around a while, and it's still beautiful, like pristine place. Like, it'll be sweet place for Mania.
So it'll be
I'm
like
all about
the most
indoor
exciting
Manias.
thing for them since Peyton Manning, I guess.
What's that?
It'll be the most exciting thing since Peyton Manning, I guess.
Yeah, most likely, yeah. And to Pat McAfee, he's a big Indianapolis dude, so he's
it was their kicker, so
yeah, he's going to be hitting that hype train on that on those shows.
He may have been a big factor in that.
Sure, deal. Yeah. He's big mouth. I'm sure he talked it into existence. But I mean, no, it's perfect though, and so I was going to see that too. And then the other announcement just made, Atlanta, October 5th. The old Bad Blood pay-per-view is coming back, and it's going to.
I did see this.
Yeah, so this is cool. So this will be hometown shows for Cody and Braun right off the bat. So, yeah, that's cool, man. And like, so I was like, oh, cool, man. I like to see some of these old pay-per-views, names come back, and Bad Blood. You know what I mean? Like,
you think of Bad Blood, you think of like the first Hell in the Cell.
Mm-hmm.
You think of all kinds of stuff, man.
I think of like First Blood matches.
First Bloods.
Those old kind. Yeah. It's probably going to be like a sort of TLC version. I bet there'll be like some, or say there might be like some, some gimmick matches. But another thing too here is like, are they playing off Bloodline kind of too with Bad Blood? So there might be something there with that.
You
You
know,
know
that's
how us
smart.
sickos think.
I can't even believe I didn't think of that. That's good. I like that.
So I'm always kind of looking into something, beyond just a name, so all right, and we'll obviously be talking about Money in the Bank here lately, but before we jump into AEW Forbidden Door, dude, let's talk about the surprise. So we give it its due diligence, and so Cena comes out, Money in the Bank last week, and everybody's like, oh shit, here he comes, and then he holds his towel up and it says, the last time is now. And I go, oh, and I'm not shitting you, man. Like I instantly got goosebumps. I was like, oh man, like this is what he's going to talk about. Like I'm shocked too. Like, oh, it's Cena, I was like, yeah, my son's like, oh, Cena is cool, like, oh man. So yeah, so instantly got kind of, I've never been like a Cena guy, but like I, obviously he's done a ton for this business and I respect shit out of him for his, what he's given, and the popularity of the sport he's helped, but I was like, oh man, like, but in the same sense, I was a little sad, but I was a little happy because I was like, hey man, this is cool. This is like, hey man, look, I got a year in me, basically a year and a half. I guess he's not probably coming, he might probably maybe something later in the year he'll work towards a storyline or something, maybe for Rumble. But, basically he's saying, yeah, I got a year left, man, and so, if you want some, come get some, but also, hey, if you want to come see me, but you still can't see me. You know what I mean? But so I thought this was awesome, man. I wish more wrestlers would do this. I mean, a lot of times we know that these wrestlers are like on their last leg, getting ready to take off soon, but we don't really actually know. Now, it is still wrestling, so I'm going to take it with a grain of salt. Once they hit Netflix, if they can offer Cena a lot of money, and he's back putting his face on there, and you know what I mean. So I'm gonna take it with a grain of salt, but I think it'll be mostly retirement. But man, I was what was you feeling? Was you a little shocked too?
Yeah. So shock. Yeah. I mean, I wouldn't say so much shock because of the timeliness of it. I mean, it's due. And he's kind of been hinted at it for a little bit, but 2002, I was 13, and now I turned 35 in a couple weeks. So
right.
It's been around a while, and in a lot of so it's like
You've watched
crazy.
A lot of Cena.
Yes, his whole career there in WWE. So, no, it really is crazy. I immediately get nostalgic with it, with thinking about some of my favorite rivalries. Him and CM Punk, him and Edge.
Sure.
But then, so a couple things I have on this. Number one, he originally, the way he said it in the ring. Now he seems like a guy who chooses his words carefully.
Very. I feel like he does everything carefully.
And he said, "This will be my last Royal Rumble, and this will be my last WrestleMania." Now, a lot of sports outlets and stuff ran with that and took that as like, oh, that's his last. He's retiring at WrestleMania. Mm. No, he said it's his last WrestleMania. He's actually. Right. I watched the press conference. He's actually finishing out 2025. Mm. He said between 30 and 40 dates.
Yeah,
and which is cool. That's a lot. I think so.
That means he's going to go all in. He's going to tell some stories, get on some feuds,
doing a good run there at the end. Yeah. So there's that. Also, Triple H was saying that Papa H showed up for his press conference. He was saying that people don't do this. Like people, you'd think more people would retire this way in wrestling, but They just don't. Usually they go out, like Cena kind of said in his press conference, usually they're forced to retire unexpectedly due to injury or some other reason.
Yeah.
Or they just kind of fade out in the sunset. But this is kind of unprecedented, the way he's doing it.
Mm-hmm.
It's cool because we all are going to be on the ride with him. We know.
Sure.
And automatically the fan in me starts thinking like, okay, he's got 1 year. So,
Yeah.
Look, okay, another one of my favorite feuds.
Sure.
We've seen it I don't even know, more than 100 times. But Cena and Orton.
Yeah.
Who's this retirement match? Who's the last match?
It's probably him, honestly.
Yeah.
To me, it's him or it's The Rock. Those are my two. You know what I mean? But
yeah, Randy
makes more sense long term.
Yeah.
They were in FCW together. What
OVW.
Group?
OVW,
yeah. So, yeah, man, that'd be awesome, man. So, personally, for me, I want to see him mix it up with a lot of new guys. I want to see him mix it up with some, like Seth, guys have been on the roster for a while, but I really want to see him like mix it up with some classic guys too. Like, I love seeing I like to see him and Rock do it again. At this point, endless really.
I mean,
Healthy
Punk even
Edge
said, "Hey,
if
you don't mind," Punk's like, "I'll lace up with you one more time."
yeah, we'll see. We'll see that too for sure. But yeah, man. So, but I'm cool with this because a lot of reasons, that I've already said. But my we talked about this before. Like my son really got into Cena, and in that last little run, and then all of a sudden he's just gone. He's asking me all the time when wrestling comes on, "Where's Cena?" So now he's going to get to at least watch him for a little while and make like one last run. So I thought this was cool. So after 2025, can Cena run for president? Because I'd fucking vote like hell for that motherfucker against anybody.
Right, like I said,
it seems like the right dude. Let's have Cena and The Rock in the cabinet.
The hell out of anybody that opposes him.
Oh man, I would trust Cena with this country. I'd trust him with nuke buttons. I would trust him like I would just always think that he's going to make a rational decision and he's going to think things through. Because by golly, he's fucking John Cena. You know what I mean? So man, but.
He should get something. He's got that record for Make-A-Wishes, so
he does, man. Well, he's just a guy, man. You know how a lot of times, like, people say if you could come back in another life as another person, you know what I mean? Like Cena would be a good one, man. This dude's like he's really good. Like I feel like he's a genuinely nice dude, and so it's great for the sport, man. He just seems
very professional. He seems like a just a professional dude, no matter what he's in, like movies or whatever, commercials, wrestling. Yeah. So I love, even in acting,
right?
You see sides of him in acting that you never saw in wrestling, and I love it because because you can tell he's putting everything into it.
Yeah, dude. Yeah, for real. So, all right, man, let's talk a little Forbidden Door, man. So this one was back on June the 30th, 2024, this year. So, I mean, we're going to talk about it too. I mean, a lot of the talk has been, this ain't really Forbidden Door anymore. It's, because the relationship is wide open.
Yeah,
these aren't really dream matchups anymore too much, right?
No, they've been, because they don't, not only that, but they don't just do it at Forbidden Door. Like it's a year-round thing now. Like they're always going back and forth.
Right.
Especially the AEW wrestlers, they're not exclusive to. I mean, they are. Right. They do have exclusive AEW contracts, but like they still wrestle everywhere else too.
Right.
Except WWE. But
you want to hear my idea? And this is. I hope Tony Khan could hear this or listen to this because I think this could possibly get a little grassroots effort of something going. Like leave the name Forbidden Door, but instead of doing AEW against like New Japan, do AEW versus the top talent on the indies, like the unsigned guys and girls. You know what I mean? Put them on like this platform, let them go. You know what I mean? Like, and like, like the top guys in the independents, say like, in the top tag teams and let them mix it up. They're already kind of dipping into the indies anyway, whenever, that they, sign talent. A lot of the indies, I think, guys and girls probably lean a little more, at least in the Midwest, lean a little more towards AEW, I think, just for
opportunities,
style
obviously.
and opportunities. Yeah. So, I mean, I think it'd be great. I mean, a lot of these guys already, MJF was on the Midwest Indies for a while, you know what I mean? So he's locked up with a lot of these guys, girls already anyway. So, I don't know. It's my idea.
Well, do you think Ring of Honor is still considered an indie?
I mean, it's very in between. I would say no, just because that Ring of Honor name is it's got a lot of history behind it, and I always looked at that as like a top tier, even higher than a super indie. You know what I mean? Like a lot of guys, that girls that come through there. You know what I mean?
At
but like
point,
right now,
basically AEW. So
yeah, and now it's I like it because it's almost like it's a minor league now for AEW. It's their farm system, kind of. They can these guys and girls that can get on the main shows, can get work, there, and stay on top of their craft, man. So I mean, I like it, and I think it'll always hold that history and that prestige about the Ring of Honor name. So I think a lot of people, if they ever get signed, are like, cool, it's Ring of Honor, you know what I mean? But like, it's not a brand, I think, that most of the population, non-wrestling fans, knows is still even a thing. They might have heard of it at some point, but yeah. All right, let's jump to it, man. So they led off with MJF versus I can never say this dude's name right. There you go, Hechicero. It's a good opener, Everybody got to come out and see MJF right off the bat, and so this was, was what it was. It was a decent opener. Second match though was the Elite defeating the Acclaimed and Tanahashi. Now, the one thing that jumped out to me big about this match was, man, Tanahashi looked old, man. He looked a step off. Like, I was just just kind of bummed by that. They lost, but I hadn't got to see him live, I think, in a little while. So I don't know, maybe it really kind of jumped out, at me.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But I mean, this wasn't what was it. I pretty much thought that the Elite was going to go over here. Now I guess the Elite is kind of grown now with Adam being back.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So those were good. And then this next match, man, which was the first round of the Owen Hart Cup, was Bryan Danielson and Shinjo. I thought this was great, man. I always like to see, basically like Danielson has become that guy to me that like I kind of want to see him wrestle everybody. I want to see how everybody deals with him. You know what I mean? Like his style, like it's like he adjusts to who he's wrestling, but kind of stays true to himself. So
yeah, he's the kind of guy that doesn't need a championship.
No, I wouldn't be mad if he won it though.
But I think he is the next challenger.
Yeah. It feels that way. And I don't know. Yeah. So, and they got this little like side storyline going with Jeff Jarrett, where like he's becoming a darling, man. Like everybody's freaking loving him. I'm liking him now too. Like, like what are they gonna do with him? Like they're like trampling on his feelings and stuff a lot. And but yeah, I'm starting to I want to see where they go with this. But yeah, I mean, not particularly this pay-per-view, but I have been watching a little more AEW. I've been trying to, follow along a little more, and basically just Dynamite. I'm kind of looking at the matchups for Rampage, that kind of stuff to see if I'm gonna watch it or not. But anyway, next AEW Women's World Championship, Toni Storm defeated Mina Shirakawa. I'm still loving Tony's gimmick. I didn't watch Dynamite last night, but I've seen some pictures on social media where I think she got fucked up pretty good.
Yeah, same. Like, yeah. I saw the closing credit scene. Yeah.
She took a couple shots of the high heel on the head or something. She's bleeding good, man. She had a good crimson going on. One of my favorite matches of the night next, man, and I had no expectations of this either, was Zack Sabre Jr., and he beat Orange, but man, this was good, man. This shows you that, like, Orange, once again, I mean, Orange, shit on the gimmick, it's lazy or whatever, but when this motherfucker's motivated and goes, that dude can go, man.
Right.
And he seemed like he was up for the task against Zach. Like, I totally felt like they're going to lean on this lazy gimmick because Zach's totally not that type of, wrestler. Right. And Zach made him go, man. It was great. Like, I was totally into it. So the next match was, like, I basically didn't watch too much of this because I seen it was up next, but like Samoa Joe, Hook, and Shibata defeated Jericho, Big Bill, and Brian Keith. So let's pause right here, man. Yeah, Primo, this positive Jericho, like, is this him trying to reinvent himself again, right? Like, trying to be another. This one's a stalwart a little bit though. Like,
they don't always hit.
No, but like, I'm waiting for a really funny moment from it, and then everybody's gonna get it, right? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And then everybody's gonna love it after that. But yeah, this is a little off. But I can't remember who I was in the TNT title match, but Jack Perry. If Michael was here, it'd be all beside himself, I'm sure. But Jack Perry won the TNT title. He's the new TNT champion. I mean, it kind of makes sense because they got to give this kid like a little bit of clout, like give him some sort of, existence, I guess. You know what I mean? To kind of belong, in a way. So
a reason to be there.
Yeah. So, and he can kind of do some, nasty heel, dumb shit with it. So, yeah, but it was a decent match. I watched a little bit of, I know Mercedes Moné won her match versus the New Japan Strong Women's champion, Stephanie Vakir. But I kind of like, I didn't watch too much of the match. I think I was actually making some food because I seen the last two matches coming up, and I wanted, have a little, make sure I was sitting down, which I could have went and took a big dump or whatever I wanted during Naito and Moxley, because that was dog crap. I don't know. It was like, because Naito's he's kind of got a gimmick like Orange too, like you don't give a shit about a lot of stuff, you know what I mean? But I don't know, man, this one just didn't work. They just I don't know, just seemed a little off. Like, I didn't really know what they were really trying to do. I mean, this was for the IWGP World Championship, but Naito retained. So the main event though, this was good stuff, man. Like Swerve and Ospreay, they got some nice chemistry, man. And Ospreay, he's probably the biggest babyface in the company right now. He's being displayed that way.
He's awesome.
How much you think he's making a year, dude? I'd really like to know, because I know what some of his indie dates, like what they paid for him. And so I'd really like to know, just because I bet it's fucking astronomical, because they're being so hush-hush about it, man. Like, he's a good negotiator, man. He's like, I know he knows his worth. So I don't know, man, but dude's, he's delivering. He's great, man. It's kind of hard to argue. Maybe these might be the best in the world right now. I'm still going to say Jay White, and I want to see Jay White will again. But Yeah, this one's tough, but man, they're setting up Strickland here nice, man. They're making him look pretty good as a champion.
Yep. I saw like he gave a couple of those kicks to the head to Ospreay, man, to finish the match. It looks so good, like so
Yeah.
clean.
Yeah.
And I've always been a fan of him. Like I've said this in the past.
Mhm.
I liked him since he was Killshot in Lucha
Yeah,
Underground.
yeah.
And
I loved him on the Indies. Like,
yes,
yeah, man, he was great. I saw him and I've said this on the pod, probably even last show. Like I've seen him and Matt Riddle. The night I got that clip that I sent to you.
right.
A phenomenal Evolve Championship match, man. Like one.
What up, bro?
Yeah, that one. The exact same night, man. So that was cool, man. He's glad to see him staying on top. And at first we were kind of talking last pod a little bit of transitional champion, but I mean,
Yeah,
he's looking good right now, man. So like I wouldn't be mad if they left it on him at least a couple more months. I don't know which big ones coming up next. Is it Full Gear maybe? No, All In and All Out coming. So so those will be probably some decent title defenses for him if he doesn't lose it by then, I would imagine. So I wouldn't imagine not, but let's Smelly Market, man. I'm gonna give this about a 7. I really liked a few matches, and I really, but like I said, I'm getting a little more on AEW's train, man. Like I'm digging it. It's starting to talk to me a little.
Yeah, I mean, for me, it's like a 6.5, but that's like I said, it's only because Forbidden Door doesn't seem as special anymore, like as it originally was.
Right. Like we got these matchups, like whoa,
right,
whoa, yeah, and where's Omega? Is he coming back? Is he hurt still? What's going on? Where's he at?
I'm not too sure.
Yeah, me neither. I was just kind of wondering if you knew any updates.
No, he like popped up a while back, and
yeah, I forgot to say too, this is Long Island, New York, man. This was MJF's hometown, so obviously they went nuts right off the bat. But yeah, decent, man. Like I said, I'm getting into it a little more, investing a little more in the storylines. And honestly, like I'm watching that. I'm watching WWE. I'm watching, most of the indies, keeping up what's going on that. But, and which we'll talk about later in the show too, man, right after we talk about Money in the Bank. But yeah, NXT is getting a little more interesting too. So I'm flipping over there and I'm at least, checking, some of it out. So yeah, I definitely want to talk about that. So
yeah.
Let's jump to Money in the Bank, brother. Some Money in the Bank, baby.
Yes,
all right. So, this was good, man. I was super. I thought this was a great pay-per-view, man. Like top to bottom. I like how everything was placed. Yes, this was awesome, man. But let's jump right into it.
As soon as you have the Money in the men's Money in the Bank as the opener,
right?
And Drew wins.
Right. Yeah. I know, man. Us sickos, we know too much. Like, men's Money in the Bank, it means instant cash in later.
Oh man, yeah.
But and we always compare, and we'll talk about it later. But women's definitely beat the men's again this year.
I had to agree.
Yeah. Women's are good. Had great spots. The girls brought it. But I mean, the men's was good. Had a lot of good spots. The Andrade powerbomb on Carmelo was nasty.
Which is actually, or he did that to Finn.
Right. Yeah.
In the past, so it was kind of a repeat, but it had a very similar result.
Yeah. Now going into this, I thought Jay was winning. I was like, all right, Jay's winning. That's going to run that little storyline with him, and he's kind of big baby face too. Right now, and I was like, all right, and then
my brother asked me, and I said Jay or LA Knight.
Yeah. Like. Honestly, I could probably make an argument for all of them except maybe Carmelo and Andrade, and Andrade would have been a big shocker, but you know. So when Drew wins, I'm like, all right. So Drew wins. And so we're like, okay, you know, we're gonna have a little, you know, action later. I'm like thinking, man, like Drew's gonna be the champion later, and then that's gonna give him and CM Punk's feud a little steam, you know, something to go for, you know, and then Punk could win it, and then Punk Seth, you know, after that, right? And so I was like, oh, you know, starting to make sense, you know, and then, you know, so then when we get to it, knowing what we know, you know, happens later was pretty interesting. So, so the next match was Intercontinental Champion Sami Zayn defeated Braun Breaker clean to win to retain the title.
Yeah.
So-
Were you surprised that it was clean like that?
Yeah,
Over Braun
yeah.
after they built him up so much
Yeah.
as such a killer.
Well, he should have lost those ugly ass tights he had on.
Oh.
Those were terrible. Like,
Dude,
those
what
were
was that?
awful.
Looks like-
I don't know.
look-
It's like tape going around, you know?
I was like, you look like you shredded up some gift wrap and put them on. I don't know what was going on there, but you need to go back and raid your uncle's closet again and try, you know, and try something else. But
Exactly.
I mean, obviously, I wanted Sammy to win. I don't want Braun to. I'm not saying I don't want Braun to win a title. I just didn't want him to win this one right now.
Yeah.
If that makes any sense.
Yeah. I thought DQ the whole way here. Like Braun's gonna like go crazy on him and get DQ'd, and then we got another match for SummerSlam, and then Braun wins it there. That's what I was thinking.
Right.
You know, and then Sammy wins clean.
You think you would do something to continue the feud, right?
Right, yeah.
Instead of a one and done type deal.
Yeah. And Sammy wins clean. I'm like, all right, well, you know, this kind of elevates Sammy, kind of shows that Braun is, you know, beatable. You know, it kind of humbled him. He's like, oh, you know, I knew it happened, but yeah, I shall humble you. I knew that like Braun would end up beating Sammy at some point, but he was shocked that it happened, you know, then, or he goes, I'm surprised that, you know, that it was you, you know, so it just, you know, so it kind of like puts a little, you know, a little bud in Sammy's ear to be like, oh, so you underestimated, you don't think I was going to beat you kind of deal. So I think it's kind of
everybody, you know, Sammy's getting a chip on his shoulder because everybody's calling him the underdog in every match.
Right. Yeah.
And he's like, at some point, you're going to stop calling me the underdog and you're going to start calling me the champ, right?
Right.
So,
right. Yeah. So, third match was a cash in, man. Was Rollins versus Damian Priest for the World Heavyweight Championship. Now, okay, it just didn't seem like a smart cash in. Like, you know, usually wait till the pin, somebody's beat up already, you know, I mean, but he just like inserts himself. We've seen this before, but he just like inserts himself. Okay, 3-way match. All of a sudden, here we go. I'm going to jump in, you know, with you guys.
He did it when the botch happened, the pin botch. So
exactly, yeah. You think it was supposed to happen?
The music, I feel like the music was supposed to hit on 3.
Right, yeah.
In my opinion. And Damian was supposed to probably hit on 3 and cause a stir that make the ref not count to 3 or something, right?
Or Seth pop up all of a sudden or something.
Right.
Yeah.
There's that factor, and then the one thing that actually kind of annoyed me, I've seen other people kind of liked it. I don't know. But for me anyway, personally, the fact that they kept looking at the stage waiting for the cash in, like, yes, we know that you know that it's going to happen, but you're looking like every 30 seconds, so kind of detracting from the match a little bit. Other than that, you know, Seth made it a triple threat when he cashed in at WrestleMania, but it, like you said, it was clearly at the end whenever like finishers were happening. So, I mean, you know, I don't know. I mean, obviously we saw the outcome. So,
yeah. So Drew ends up, or Damian ends up getting the pin on Drew. And so another failed cash in, and so I'm like, okay, and Punk shows up again, obviously, and and adds to it, and this kind of tiffs off Seth, so he's pissed at CM Punk now. So I was wondering how they were going to bridge the gap to get CM Punk and Seth, So here we go, and then they were face to face on Monday Night Raw last night or a couple nights ago, and and basically, Seth was like, you stuck your nose in my business, and CM Punk's like, well, I was just handling my business, so yeah, but I was just interested to see like how they were going to bridge that between those two. So I mean, you kind of got two feuds kind of going now, almost kind of a little bit, like, but
CM Punk missing everybody's Cheerios. So
yeah, does this look like a triple threat at SummerSlam?
I mean, it could be, but I mean, it just reignited the original feud that CM Punk was supposed to have. So, no, I mean, it's cool. And by the way, I will say this, that Seth looked pretty good coming back from injury.
Yeah, he did.
When I know we were talking about being kind of worried a little bit that it was really soon, but no, he looked great.
Yeah.
Obviously Seth versus CM Punk is going to happen. So I guess what better way to go ahead and get it started? And on top of, there was the stipulation that, if Damian won, then Seth couldn't challenge him for the title anymore.
Yeah. He mentioned he's got to go to the back of the line now. So yeah. So I thought this was good. Adds more, even more to Drew and CM Punk, and so in this, another way that Drew's got screwed over. You know what I mean? So it just keeps kind of adding to it. So I love this. But next up was the very awesome women's Money in the Bank ladder match. This was awesome, man. These girls brought it. I love that Tiffany Stratton won. It totally makes sense, but I don't know, man. Like, for some reason, I was like, seems like it's Naomi's time again for some.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I just felt like she'd been back with the company a little while and hadn't had too much of a run of anything. Io Sky wasn't going to win back to back. They usually don't, do that or sell that off because, why would you? You've already did that before. Right? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So Zoe seemed a little early, and what is it, Lyra Valkyria or whatever, but man, so this is going to be fun, man. Like, Tiffany's a star, man. She looks good. She can wrestle. I think she needs to, she'll probably still got a little bit of work on the microphone, I think, because she just leans a little bit into this, kind of daddy's girl little gimmick. But man, fucking Tiffany time is the real deal.
Pink briefcases are about to sell like hotcakes.
Yeah, fucking gonna bedazzle them things, and yeah. Oh yeah, man. Yeah, it's gonna say like Tiffy in the bank or Tiffy time.
Yeah,
or something like that. But
it'll be great. No, I thought this was a good match too. I agree with you. If anybody complains about the fact that there being any, botches in these types of matches, I mean, come on.
Look how many times they get it right. You know what
right.
I mean?
The moments they do get it right are the important ones. So, like that tombstone, off of that by Io and Zoe did.
Yeah.
Oh, holy crap, dude.
Yeah, I think that popped Michael Cole big time too.
Like, when they do this stuff right, they do it right. But and it's, if people see, everybody's gonna see stuff when you mess up. But you gotta pay attention. You gotta realize this in this type of match and with this many people, it is so easy to mess up.
Yeah. What do you think about Chelsea Green's ECW spot? Like off the top of the ladder onto the tables?
She fell right through them. And honestly, that's another one I wouldn't have minded winning. To be honest,
she'd been fun with the briefcase, wouldn't she? She'd have made it hilarious comedy spot. Like, honestly, like I would have loved to seen like a failed cash in from her, just because it probably
Right,
would have been
yeah,
funny.
yeah.
You know, it probably been
Yeah.
great. You know,
Yeah.
right along
No,
with
she
her.
really is. She's good. She's just really funny.
Yeah, like with her, her stuff. So yeah, so man, this was good. This was a very good women's ladder match, and then in the main event, which is kind of a showcase of the new Bloodline, on a pay-per-view match and the 6-man tag match. Bloodline did defeat Cody Rhodes, Randy Orton, and Kevin Owens, and Solo pinned Cody here. So I think I didn't like that too much. I think they could have just set up the SummerSlam match anyway. But what do you think?
I'm a hater. I am a hater. Yeah. I'll say it. I commented on Reddit about this.
Yeah.
I said, you mean to tell me that a bunch of mid-carders just beat the current WWE champion, a 14-time world champ, future first ballot Hall of Famer, and a former world champion Kevin Owens? Like, you're gonna tell me that some mid-carders just beat these guys? You can't sell me on that. So, I mean,
they're trying to say that they're top of the Carters.
Not for a second do I think that Solo should ever beat Cody right now.
Yeah, right. Yeah, got to make that SummerSlam match. Like, when does Roman come back anyway? Like, what's the best guess?
I'm just SummerSlam, but I just don't buy it. I'm not buying Solo. To me, he's still the little brother that came from NXT. Like,
yeah.
I'm just not sold on it yet, and I don't know if I will be. Maybe it's because I'm resisting it pretty hard, but not my bloodline. But anyway, you know what I'm saying? So
yeah,
no, I go and clean over the WWE champ who beat Roman Reigns
with a thumb. He beat Cody with the thumb.
Yeah,
spike. All right, so that was WWE Money in the Bank, man. Let's smelly market, man. I enjoyed this one. What do you think? What do you think first?
For the most part, I did enjoy it. I'm a gimmicky guy, so I do like ladder matches, Money in the Bank. I've loved the concept since it first came out. Altogether, I was also, it seems like some of the regular matches, when you have the Money in the Bank matches, you kind of look at their placement on the card. So it sometimes seems like they just kind of throw the other matches where they can put them. But no, I didn't. I liked it except for the main event.
Yeah.
I liked the 2 gimmick matches. Sammy winning was good. Seth and Damian was fine. Even CM Punk returning. When is this dude gonna be healthy?
Right. I think he's pretty much healthy. Just healthy not to wrestle yet, I guess. Well, it looks like, because he flew to France.
Yeah, I mean, and apparently Logan Paul doesn't have to go to Canada to defend his title, so at pay-per-views.
Right.
Anyway,
yeah.
Or in the any of that stuff. But anyway, all in all, because of the main event, I gotta give it a 7.5.
Yeah, I'm going a little higher on the 1 to 10 smelly mark scale. I'm going like 8.5. I love the women's match. Men's match was good. I liked the cash in. It gave some excitement. You know what I mean? Braun and Sammy told a good little story there to for kind of like what's next. So yeah, I thought it was pretty good, man. I was very entertained. So all right, man. Before we go home, man, let's talk a couple tidbits, man, on the way out. So your boy Seth Rollins. What are you more excited for, Primo? Punk Drew or Seth Punk?
Seth Punk.
Seth Punk.
I mean, the match itself,
sure.
Seth Punk.
Yeah.
And honestly, at this point, you would think that Drew and Punk are working towards like a freaking last man standing match. It's crazy, right?
Right.
But they haven't actually even had a regular singles match together. but
Yeah.
we've got people getting suspended and fined.
Yeah.
No, but for real, Seth and Punk, and
Mhm.
that's because I'm biased, and Seth is probably my favorite wrestler in the that from WWE in the past 10 years.
Right. All right, man. Next question. So NXT has been doing a ton of crossover. So I only have one question for you, Primo. Do you believe in Joe Hendry?
Say his name and he appears. I believe in Joe Hendry. I believe in Joe Hendry. Cause they love him in London and Paris and Tokyo. America, Scotland.
Man, this is great, dude. Hendry is over. Yeah, I'm loving this crossover with TNA and NXT. It's got me interested. It's got me watching. A couple things have happened lately, man. They had that NXT Heatwave pay-per-view, and Ethan Page is now your new NXT champion.
All ego era.
Yeah, right. Yeah, all ego, dude. And I'm like, oh, well, they got me now. But I know they got you now too, Primo, because your boys, the Rascals, are back. How about that?
Yeah, that is so cool, honestly.
Yeah.
I liked them as a trio in TNA, and then I liked MSK in NXT. And it's just it's cool, but also kind of weird to see them all three together in NXT, but it's very exciting. So I'm really happy about that.
Yeah, I like seeing Trey. It was cool. I think they need Myron Reed now to make the quartet all together.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah. So that'd be fun. All right, next question, man. So we talked about Bad Blood coming back earlier in Atlanta. Do you remember any old pay-per-view names that you thought were cool and fun that, maybe they should bring back? Like, for some reason, I always remember Fully Loaded. I always remember that one.
Fully Loaded.
Yeah.
I always liked, so Bad Blood's a good one.
Mm-hmm.
They used to have Unforgiven.
Yes. Armageddon. I went to one of those. Judgment Day.
Yeah. Judgment Day, which they did bring back that one year.
Yeah.
I think some of the crappier ones were like
St. Valentine's Massacre.
Yeah, any of those, or the Capitol, whatever that was, the bash at the Capitol or whatever. But anyway, no, I like some of the older ones from like 90s, early 2000s. Those are all good. Yeah.
I like this too. All right, so next question. Let's touch back on something.
Cyber Sunday, Taboo Tuesday.
Cyber Sunday, Taboo Tuesday, yeah. One Tuesday in Texas or something they did like that one time.
Yeah. Or that I remember back in the day, everything was in your house. In your house.
Yes. Yep. But yeah, let's touch back. So you did a little research, and according to Fightful, you said that Will Ospreay's AEW contract is for 3+ years, confirmed to be 7 figures per year. What's your guess? I'm gonna say 5.
I'm gonna say per year.
Yeah, it wouldn't even. Yeah, Khan's got money, and Will is like one of the best in the world, and Tony's a Ospreay mark.
2.5 per year. Yeah,
it wouldn't even surprise me if it was north of 5. Like, you could tell me it was 8, and I'd fucking believe you, man. Like, yeah, I would. Like, I just would.
That's like more than an NFL player.
I know. Oh man. All right. Last question, Primo. Rhea Ripley returned on Raw last night.
Yes, Mommy's back.
As Dom was about to he was getting into position, dude.
Now, I know this man's recently married in real life, but he's not in a bad spot.
Right, man. Yeah. He's
living the, like, not to be too rude here, but he's living the dream of a lot of men.
Nah, man, like he had Eddie and Ray fighting over him as a kid. Now he's got Liv and Ray.
Dude, I saw this thing recently. It was like longest 10 years in WWE right now. It was like Randy Orton, 22 years.
Yeah.
And some other people like The Miz.
And
then it had Dom on there too.
Yeah.
From like, it's like 20 something years.
Was R-Truth on there?
Yeah, well,
The-
Truth should be
yeah.
on there because he was K Quick back in the day.
Right. Nice.
No,
Yeah,
but
man.
I think it's cool. And Mommy's
Yeah.
back, so we'll get to see.
Yeah. Mommy came back with a yellow face too. She had a lot of makeup on. I was a little second. I was like, my daughter's like, is something wrong with her? And I was like, no.
Just when he was about to
layeth the smacketh down.
Yeah.
Here come Mommy. But that was great though,
Right.
man. This is my brutality.
Dude, the way that Liv ran, I was like,
yeah, it was great. It was great. All right, man.
The backstage segments. I was gonna say that too. The backstage segments was the Judgment Day.
Yeah.
They've been so funny, like Carlito and Finn and them.
Yeah.
They're just like, bro.
Right. They were playing video games and they said like Dom had a Woody or something like that back there. Yeah. All right. So a couple notes, man. I went to a WWE house show here in Bloomington a couple weeks ago.
Yep.
It was great, man. It was awesome. The Intercontinental title match led off the show. It was Sammy versus Ludwig Kaiser, and Bronson Reed. Sammy got a huge pop. It was really good. I can't remember what all the matches we saw. Had my son with me. Tiffany Stratton was there. I can't remember who she wrestled, but the main event was they advertised Cody Rhodes, right? And so ended up being Cody versus Shinsuke in the main event. Yeah, a little Nakamura action. So so it was pretty good, man. It was an awesome show. They called it a super show. You know what I mean? So it had a lot of people on it, man. So it was super awesome. My son was asleep before Cody even came out because they need to start these house shows earlier, but or do them in the afternoon or something. But it was great, man. Cody was awesome. It was a really good house show. I want to take a few minutes to plug a couple local shows. If you guys know, we are working towards our biggest show of the year. Iron Spirit Pro is coming up on July the 20th at the Station Saloon in Bloomington, Illinois. We're going to be crowning our fourth ever Iron Spirit Pro champion. Main event just got announced. In the main event, it's going to be Solomon Tupu versus Trevor Outlaw versus Shane Boucher in a triple threat match for the Iron Spirit Pro Championship. There's going to be an I Quit match between Xavier Sky and Ezio Orlandi, and also some other matches to be announced. So it's our biggest show of the year, man. We're going to have food. We're going to have a shaved ice truck out there. Custom is sponsored by Custom Air Company. They're going to be out there giving away a bunch of free goodies and that kind of stuff. So if you're in the Bloomington, Illinois area, come on out to Iron Spirit Pro July 20th. It's our biggest show of the year, man. Can't recommend it enough. And then also, if you've been living under a rock, a lot of things been happening in Dreamwave Wrestling lately, man. At the last pay-per-view, two former guests of the pod turned on each other. Connor Hopkins, he cashed in his Good as Gold briefcase contract opportunity for the Dreamwave Championship moments after helping Christian Rose beat Gringo Loco in the main event in a steel cage. They slammed the door on Christian Rose's head like I had like a la like Ronnie Garvin, Tully Blanchard, like stuff just going through my mind, and they cashed it in. And then to make things worse, dude, old school style, they fucking cut Christian's hair off, dude. They it's just... yeah, man. So they took his title and his mullet, man. It's crazy. But
he got his wig split.
Yeah, dude. So the Fallout is coming in August, just in a few weeks, man. The show's been sold out. It's going to be live on IWTV. We got Dreamwave Uprising 3, which is going to be our women's division in Dreamwave. That's going to be on Friday night, and then Dreamwave Those Summer Nights is on Saturday night, August the 3rd. Check it out, man, on IWTV, independentwrestling.tv, and find out, see what's going to happen in the Fallout. And then what's great about Dreamwave, man, is like this show's been sold out for like a long time, right? And he's still booking people. He just announced Minoru Suzuki is going to be there for meet and greet, and he's wrestling Vic Capri. So, yeah, it's crazy, man. Always buy the ticket, man. You never know what's going to happen. So, And one last note, man. I want to talk about coming up here in just a couple weeks, man. I promise you guys an announcement on another independent wrestler coming on the pod to talk wrestling and the dream. Now, I go to a lot of, wrestling shows. I see these guys showing up to set up the ring. These guys are hungry, trying to get on the card. Just doing everything they can to further themselves in this business and own their craft. And right now, man, in the Midwest, there's probably not a guy working harder than Matt Hatter. He just had a couple big matches. He had one with Christian Rose, his mentor. We're going to talk about that. We're going to talk about some of his earlier wrestling matches. We're going to talk about his training at Zawa Live. Your favorite neighborhood maniac is going to be on the pod coming up next. His name is Matt Hatter. So you guys stay tuned for that, man. We're going to be talking a lot about the independent wrestling scene, a lot of Dreamwave. I know he's very frequent in ICW and a couple other promotions. So looking forward to talking to Matt, man. We're going to be talking to him towards the end of July. And then, well, I'm not going to promise the Harris brothers, but, hopefully the next time we get together, at the very least, me and Primo will be back to speak on SummerSlam. We're going to talk about, I think, All In, man. It's about the time to talk about All In and All Out coming up in early August. Yeah. So SummerSlam recap, All In preview, and then in September is going to be All Out. So we'll be back, man. SummerSlam's going to be in Cleveland. It's kind of looking like Cody and Solo is probably the main event to take us home. But SummerSlam just one night, right? They're not doing 2 nights with SummerSlam, are they?
As far as I know, it's just one night,
Or they might can do like NXT or something Friday or something maybe. So
I saw somewhere that I don't know if it's true or not, but I saw somewhere that Dana White was like, since because they're owned by the same parent company, but Dana White was like, yeah, they're gonna be moving back to Sundays with those PLEs because UFC is on Saturdays, but
right,
I don't know.
Yeah. So I'm interested to see how that all works out. I'm still waiting on that WWE Sphere pay-per-view that they're going to have eventually. Like, I know it's coming. So, all right, Primo. Thank you, brother, for joining me here today. So, appreciate it. Thanks for your knowledge always, of course. Hope everything is going good. And, so we'll be back here in a couple weeks. We'll talk to Matt Hatter in a couple weeks after that. We'll talk about SummerSlam. So for Primo, I am DB, and this to take you home is Joe Henry.
Say his name and he appears. I believe in Joe Hendry. I believe in Joe Hendry. Cause they love him in London and Paris and Tokyo, America, Scotland and Canada and Mexico. They say, I believe in Joe Hendry. I believe in Joe Hendry.
I'm DB. That's Primo.